مرحبا معكم حاتم العقيل مع جيمز اوف ارابيا. جيمز اوف ارابيا تسلط الضوء على الشخصيات الملهمة المميزة والمبدعة. اليوم لنا الشرف معنا الأخت عفاف جنيفان من إيطاليا وملك ميموني من السعودية. يا هلا، شرفتونا. كيف حالكم؟
الحمد لله.
الحمد لله. It's a pleasure.
Well, it's a pleasure having you here. Thank you for coming. Let's start with Afaf. Afaf, it's funny, we were just talking about how we first met. I have a column with Gems of Arabia that I've been writing now. It's, I think, almost 3 years ago? 3 years ago?
No, it's 5.
Yeah. Wow, has it been 5 already?
The first time we text each other by Instagram was 2017.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And then I remember what is the thing you told me before? What's
the Gems of Arabia
Gems of Arabia,
column.
I think maybe after. But
yes.
For sure our first texting to each other was on 2017.
And you're gracious enough to also select one of my pieces when I was designing for women, and you were always very complimentary. I remember that, and you were complimentary towards Arab designers. And although you are living in the West, you're always kind of making sure that you support the community that we have. But one in particular, I remember I wrote an article. My article, you reiterated that Arabs are known as consumers.
Yeah, they are.
They're not known as artists. So
unfortunately, no.
This article got a lot of traction because of that comment. Tell us more about what you think about that.
Well, we have a long way to still do to become like to have our words in the international fashion world.
Yeah.
We still are seen as consumers. We don't really have big names like even the young designers. There is no Arabic young designer known in Italy or in France or in the West. So that shows you that we still have a long way to do. And I mean, the reasons are so many. I'm not going to start now with how many, but we still have a lot.
Do you feel like, as an Arab woman living in the West, there is additional pressure in ensuring that you brand yourself in a certain way? Mashallah, you have reached astronomical success. What is the key to rebranding yourself in that way and presenting yourself to the international community? Because what you are doing is you're building a community. I have my cousins who lived in Rome for many years. They worked, and she's fluent Italian now. And when I wrote your article, she went crazy.
Yeah, because the Italian think they now, if you tell them Afef is Arabic or is Tunisian, you go like, no, she's Italian.
Yes.
And the Arabs goes like, no, she's Arab, and you have that super fun fight between the Italian that they think I belong now to Italy and Italian. And the Arab, yes, of course, the Arab who lives in Italy, they are very nice to me, and they admire me a lot, and they think I'm a good example, and I'm happy to be a good example, because unfortunately we don't have an Arab woman in Italy that is famous or that did what I did still now. It's so sad, because I started after I slowed down, because I wanted to slow down at a certain point, because it was a lot of pressure on me.
Yeah.
But then again, nothing, no one after me. And it's sad, and I pushed some of the girls, but still what I criticize in some of the Arab model that I've been helping for a while is sometimes is the personality. And that for me, the personality, my strong personality helped a lot to become what I became. Because there are so many models, there are maybe even too many, and And sometimes you just like have to also put not only your body, your face, because your body, your face, there are better than you and less than you. And as I told you, there are so many. But the thing is also the personality.
Absolutely. Tell us, Malak, as also an Arab model who has had to kind of, infiltrate her way into a scene which is not necessarily initially accepting, were there any hurdles for you in the beginning?
Yeah, definitely a lot. I started modeling in Saudi Arabia as a foreigner model in Saudi Arabia since 2011, and I've seen all the changes from 2011 to now.
Come a long way.
Very long way. And can you remind me of your question, because I went back to 2011.
Oh, no worries. Like, what were the hurdles? Were there any hardships?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Perception, people not taking
accepting it.
Accepting
Yeah.
it, yes.
So at the start, I dealt with the idea of, if this Arab woman is a model, then she comes from not a good background, or let's just be clear, like she doesn't have a family, or she needs to work for that to gain money, or stuff like this. But for me, I took modeling as a passion, and I came from different cultures, and I wanted to deliver these cultures in Saudi Arabia, following and sticking to our heritage and roots, and doing it with respect. And I totally agree with her when she said it's personalities. I saw many models, and you're right, like too many models, and they always have this personality, and your personality what helps you actually to build your reputation, to build for clients to actually love to work with you again, to recommend you. And I feel like I'm in a mission to show what a proper model could be as an Arab woman in Saudi Arabia.
I think making your mark, which both of you definitely have made your mark, and it's a whole industry that has been kind of overlooked over many years.
Yeah.
Take it from me as a designer who started when there was no industry whatsoever. Finding photographers, finding stylists, finding models. I always had to go to Dubai, and I'm like, why do I always have to go to Dubai? Now we have.
Now they're coming to us.
Yeah, now we can go to Italy, we can go to Saudi, it can come to us. So it's really great to see this. And what you're doing is you're also exposing a layer of incredible talent that we don't know of, So all of you are part of this movement in creating this kind of new ethos of acceptance, showing how great our cultures can be. Yeah. I think that our culture should always be instrumental in shaping who we are as people, as Arabs, as creatives. So my next question for you, Afaf, is do you feel like your heritage has been instrumental now that we are here at the Saudi Cup Equestrian Club, gearing towards one of the biggest festivals in the world, celebrating Saudi heritage? How does that make you feel? And do you feel that your heritage has kind of helped you along the way, become who Afef Jnifen is?
Coming from an Arab country, so let me explain something. In my case, I was so there was someone who there was Farida. Farida is a model that was born and raised in France, from Algerian family. That was already different for her. Me, I was the first Arab model coming from an Arab country. So like leaving my family, leaving Tunis and going to, it was a completely different thing. So it was like you go there and you don't know exactly what's going to happen.
It takes a lot of resilience to be.
It is. Yeah. I told you, my personality. You have to be resilient and you have to be tough in certain things that that's what you want and that's what you're going to go to and get. It wasn't easy for me because, as she said, people will think that you come from no background. In my case, my dad was appointed as the Tunisian ambassador in Saudi Arabia when I became my career. So it was like not really the thing that a dad wants to hear, that the daughter is modeling. In fact, we didn't have an easy contact and an easy relationship in the beginning, but that was exactly what I wanted, not because I was thinking I'm going to be someone else. I'm gonna be exactly me, with my education, with that education from my heritage, but in a modern way, respecting my rules, respecting a lot of stuff. In fact,
showing the world.
And showing the world, which was not easy, by the way. You think it was easy, but being Arab was not easy at all. And some of them, they won't even believe I was Arab. They think that I'm Brazilian, I'm Mexican, I'm whatever. And I was like, it wasn't easy for some designers to take me. But again, I almost did every show. And because of that, what I said, because of my personality, little by little, my personality was more than my physique.
What was your most memorable show debut?
I started with Azdin Alaya, but Azdin Alaya didn't know I was Tunisian, and I didn't tell him.
Genius.
Because I was discovered on the beach by Jean-Paul Good, the one who...
Farida as well, yes?
Farida,
yes.
But me on the beach.
Wow,
I was on the beach in the Bahamas with, at that time, my fiancé, and he was like looking at me for 2 days because they were doing the shooting in front of the house. And then one day he came to me very shy because he's a shy man, and me, I was like really like a kid, and he looked at me and he goes like, do you want to be part of the, they were doing Club Méditerranée commercial. And a known Carla Bruni was there also. She wasn't famous. and he said, do you want to do this commercial? And I'm like, I was, maybe. I was like, I've never worked before. I wasn't thinking about being a model, frankly, And then, I have my not my family, the family of my boyfriend, and they told me, come on, do it. It's so beautiful. Do it. And I said, okay, I'll do it. So the day after, I was wearing a bathing suit of Azdin Alaya, and all started from there. And then he told me, you have to go to Paris after here because there are the shows, and you have to go see Azdin Alaya. And I went to see Azdin, and I didn't tell him I was Tunisian. It was just I didn't want it, I didn't want to help. Like, it's me and that's it. And very shy Azdin, then we became super, super good friend, and he was my dear friend.
It seems he has built quite a bond with many people in the fashion industry. Everyone speaks of him in such a profound way. Everyone, I know.
Darling, he was amazing. He was like a father for every girl. In fact, Naomi, that she calls him Papa. And me, we became then, and I did the shows and everything. And from that, my career started opened the career to me. But keeping, a lot of my, I don't know if it's heritage, I won't tell them, maybe education, family education. The family education was like, I've never smoked, I've never did any of all of craziness that happens around fashion or music business and everything. People will go drink and this and that. I've never done this, I've never smoked. I was very healthy. I kept on my health, my health life, but in the same time, my health mind.
So it's kind of your family values are kind of what set the trend for celebrating your own culture.
Yes,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely. Malak, tell me, you also have to be very assertive and have your own way of looking at things to navigate in an industry that's almost probably even possibly more difficult than Afaf, in the sense where there is none. There wasn't an industry, you know, when one started. What was the driving force for you to continue, and who are the Arab personalities or models that kind of inspired you to take this step?
All right, so I see myself as the first group that was created in Jeddah. I remember 2011 there was a group of 8 girls, and there was this international model. Her name was Ibtisam, and she was she was training us how to walk. How I was so bad in photo shoots, like I can't stand in front of a camera. It's not something that we grew knowing or we just see on TV. And then I had some experience from her for fashion shows, and then I went for 5 years to France. I studied there, and I always wanted to work in interior architecture, but fashion and modeling was always a passion. And when I went back 3 years ago, I had lots of experience in Paris. I was part of Fashion Week. I met amazing creative people. When I came back here, I had, with COVID, and I'm Moroccan, and I couldn't find a job easily. So I had this urge to be known and to create a brand from my name in modeling, how you do modeling correctly here. I faced lots of obstacles here, like racism, thinking that it's okay to wear this or to wear that just because you're a foreigner or you're in this field. But then this is where your personality again comes, and you prove and you put your points, and this is me and this is how I work. And with time people will just go with that, and they will understand that actually you're a professional person and you're just being يعني مصر على نفس المبدأ. You're following the same morals. And of course the family education helps a lot. يعني my father, took him a while to accept modeling. It took him like a while, but I had to always prove that I'm always putting your trust in front of me and our morals and how you raised us. And I will never, for example, in Saudi Arabia go and do a bikini fashion show, for example, here, you know, like. So I followed these steps, and it made me who I am now.
Yeah.
And I have this image or reputation in my field that I heard a lot, and which I'm really honored and happy about it. It's because of continuing in the same steps and the vision that I have. And then, yeah.
You're pioneering modeling in Saudi, which is not a very easy move. You know, as mentioned, you know, stylists, photographers, many of them have struggled to be taken seriously, but it takes passion.
Yeah.
You know, who are the models or the personalities that you looked at that kind of inspired you to take the step?
I remember from that period, I remember Talida.
Okay.
Talida Tamar, mashallah.
Yes, yeah.
She's stunning, and mashallah, she has the features, the height, the look.
She's also
she knows
half Italian, half Saudi.
Yeah, she's half
Yes.
Italian, half
She's on the cover of
Saudi.
Harper's.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she also she's amazing, mashallah. So she's one of the people actually that inspires me.
Yes, yeah.
There are lots of models out there, but I believe that we still need like.
And how can we like, you know, inform the new Generation Z girls to continue in this path, but also have their own take on personality, on making sure that they have their voice heard? Social media has become such a platform now for anyone can become a model now.
Yeah.
And the right messaging has to be done. And what kind of approach do you think we should take in doing the correct messaging? Because it's a very sensitive subject.
Yeah.
Starting with taking modeling they can take it to any place they want to take it. So I think this age is instrumental. Don't you agree?
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And I believe that your voice will be heard if your approach is genuine and just straightforward. as you live in Saudi Arabia as well, you can see that on social media we see lots of females that they're taking this job title as a job title for attention or to be known or just to post herself. But modeling is not about that. Modeling is not just to show yourself. Modeling is to show the piece, is to show how the feel of the piece. If you're wearing a dress, you show the feel of the dress. You know, if you're wearing a suit, you show this power, strong woman. And this is the approach I believe that every model should do and rehearse and exercise. And always, it's not wrong to see to check international models and do the same or just educate yourself, because it's not as easy as many people think.
You have to have very thick skin. Myself, long time ago, I used to be a model. When I went to university, I used to do castings with Ford. So I used to go back and forth with Jill Sander, Armani. زمان لما كنا صغار. And the whole process was not easy. You have to have very thick skin.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have a lot of confidence. You have to handle rejection, anytime, they like someone else, But what it has also done for me is I got bitten by the fashion bug thanks to modeling, because I did I did shows, and that makes you get into an entire new world. And the fashion world is so multifaceted.
Yeah.
Do you feel that sometimes the fashion world is being judged and being seen as maybe frivolous? I see a very deep and intellectual side to it, but maybe not many see that. What do you think, Afef?
Well, it's art. It's a way of doing things, and it's like sculpting things. And if we see it this way, there is also the other fashion, which is how you say it, like I don't know, Zara. Or there is nothing about art. There is nothing about sculpting things. It's
fast
just
fashion.
like fast fashion,
Yeah.
and wear it and then khalas. There is no creativity really. Those who does creativity are, for me, they are artists. But then again, I am very critic about some of these, even famous brands. Sometimes you'll see their shows and they're really like, are you kidding? I mean, come on. There is this brand, I don't want to tell you the name because you will understand it, that, did the last fashion show, and you have this here, that we're here. Okay, how do you go with the dress
Shoulder
like
pads,
this?
yeah.
How do you? I mean, all of the dresses with this. I mean, with the shoulder. Come on. I mean, there is a limit, Or some of the things that you cannot even walk with it, or the most uncomfortable big brand. I did some picture with them, and the most uncomfortable dresses and the most uncomfortable, it goes into your skin.
Yeah.
I mean, like shoes that you don't even walk with it from here to there. You're dead.
And imagine models having to wear that. That's also a challenge.
It's crazy. I mean, that for me is like, no, it's like completely crazy way of doing things, which is, there is a limit. It must be, in the middle.
But do you think that the whole, philosophy of, being a model or being into fashion is linked with maybe something that doesn't really have the depth that maybe we should start educating people a bit more about the industry, educating them a bit more about, working in fashion and the process it takes, and also how people like yourselves can have a strong impact on the younger generation, because at the end of the day, it's all about what Generation Z is the future or even Alpha are looking at and what they see from their predecessors. So do you feel like there's an obligation as a personality, a global personality, a model who has great influence in the region, to convey the correct messages?
Of course it has to be. You help the other generation coming, and it goes like from a generation to another generation, and it is a bit our duty to do it. I mean, as I told you about Farida and everything, there was an article on Vogue that was started. It's all started by her, talking about the modeling career of the Arab girls. So it's me, and then it's all the girls. It's me because of the age also. So I started that, and I opened to all the other young generation models who are, a lot of them, by the way, who became international are Tunisian. I don't know why. This is something, I don't know. I mean, at the time, you remember Hana, Kanza Furati, and some of the girls, they became like famous in the West, in the fashion in the industry, which is it's becoming more and more difficult, by the way, today to see an Arab girl in the fashion show of the big brands.
Why is that?
I don't know.
You don't have many Bellas, Gigi's, Malak, Afafs. There aren't that many, huh?
I don't know, because it's very difficult. I've been even helping, by the way. I've been helping myself a girl, and contacting really, like, some of my friends who are very, very famous designers, and they were like, it's the stylist who will decide not even
direction
the
of
designer
the model
is deciding. It's the stylist who's gonna decide, the look, and the girls who are doing the défilé. And nothing. There is no one famous Arab girl that are doing now the fashion shows in Milano, for example.
I think it's challenging for an Arab model
I
to
hope
go
so.
through that.
I hope. I want to see that. I wish.
Yeah.
I would love to. When I see this, all the girls coming from all over.
So the missing links are perception. Is it not the industry not yet being inclusive, or is it just a coincidence, coincidental?
I don't really know. Inclusive. They've been inclusive at the end with me.
Yes, of course.
And with at a certain point with Hana. But no, I don't know. It's very. I don't understand it.
Well, with the Saudi Cup, we are excited to have you both here for the Saudi Cup. There's going to be some incredible celebrations, and this is going to be the place, I believe, for the world stage, for everyone to come and to be inclusive, to celebrate heritage, and Saudi heritage, in particular Arab heritage. And also part of what the Saudi Cup is about is reiterating the importance of the Arabian stallion, and how the Arabian stallion is ours, all of us Arabs, it's ours. And it's something that we need to all own and celebrate. I promise you one more question, and then I'll let you both go. Tell me, what is authenticity to you, Malak? What does it mean?
Yeah, so it's really just be you and be real. I believe people now, they really can see who's real and who's not. Being authentic in the way you deliver things or approach people, or even how you deal with people around you. Even during a shoot, being authentic and just being you, it makes a huge difference. Absolutely. It helps a lot in growing, progressing. It reflects even the image of the place you are in. When someone from outside, for example, comes and they see how authentic and real this person is, this will reflect Saudi Arabia, will reflect our field, will reflect this industry to the outworld.
I think that we have been mimicking other cultures for many years, and it's high time that we become our own people, and we
Definitely.
share our identity. And that's I think
that's amazing.
Very important. Afaf, what's authenticity to you?
It's the opposite of being fake. It's exactly to be you, you and faithful to what you are, and not to do it for someone else, and not to please someone else. It's if you think that's the right thing to do, you have to be strong and authentic.
Yeah.
Very true, very true. But on that note, strength, being yourself, and may we all be able to celebrate authenticity, and we will definitely be celebrating it for the next few days. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for
You
having
both,
us.
and it's a pleasure having you on our Gems of Baby podcast.
you.
And
Thank
we
you
hope to
so
see you
much.
both very soon.
Inshallah.
Actually, we'll see you at the races.
Yes,
Inshallah.
inshallah. Shukran.
Thank you.